The Micro Four Thirds system has been around for a while now, since 2008, and because of that there's some incredible bargains to be found on the second-hand market. Also because of that, if you're a newbie into the system, it can kind of be a bit overwhelming choosing your first few lenses. Hi everyone, I'm Eli, I make YouTube videos on the Micro Four Thirds system, and today I've prepared 3 lenses that I think are ideal for beginners. What I mean by kit lens is a tiny little, very versatile zoom, and I like these because to me Micro Four Thirds is about the smallness of the system, and you can't get much smaller than this. It goes from 12mm to 32mm, which gives you the equivalent frame of view as a 24 to 64 on full frame. Olympus also have an offering here, the 14 to 42mm, so you're going from 28 to 84, so you get a bit like extra reach on the long end, but that lens isn't stabilized. These are kind of plasticky, they're like the budget kit lens. Micro Four Thirds has a few mid-range options there too. This is probably my most used lens. It's the Lumix 12 to 60, and it's the kit lens that they still ship nowadays with the Panasonic Lumix G9 Mark II. If you go for the Not Pro bundle, you get the 12 to 60. Now, in full frame terms, this lens goes from 24mm to 120mm. That's a pretty nice reach. This lens has been with me to Spain, it's been with me to Germany, it's been with me to England, it's been all over Ireland. I've done street photography, landscape photography, just walkabout photography, even some bird photography with this lens. It's super versatile, and you can get them for a decent price on MPB. Olympus do offer the 12 to 50, which is kind of their version of this lens. Honestly, this lens is fantastic, it's stabilized. If you pair it with a body, where's my G9? And when you pair it with a body like the G9, it's just made for it. And of course it's made for it. This was the kit lens offered with the G9, Panasonic's flagship Micro Four Thirds stills camera that only recently got an upgrade. There are pro level kit lenses out there by both Panasonic and Olympus, or OM Systems now. Panasonic have their 12 to 60 Leica, which is a bit faster, a bit sharper. OM Systems have their 12 to 40 f2.8, so that's a constant aperture of f2.8 across the zoom range. Fully weather sealed, both lenses. I think the best entry for your euro, or bang for your buck, would be the 12 to 60 by Lumix. You get a very nice versatile zoom range, you get a nice professional feeling lens. There's a lot of hate online for kit lenses, not so much in the Micro Four Thirds community, more so for other systems. I think the reason kit lenses get a lot of flack is because people outgrow them. I don't think the lenses themselves are actually bad. In fact, I think you can't beat a kit lens. There's a reason they include it. People outgrow it, I think, in 2 ways. They want either better low light performance or more reach. So the main lens I'm going to recommend here is the Lumix 25mm f1.7. It gives you the equivalent frame of view as a 50mm, and there's a reason everyone recommends a nifty 50. One, it's kind of what your eye sees. Now, because of how depth of field works for Micro Four Thirds, it's not exactly a nifty 50. It is like a 25mm cropped in to give you the, I'll make a full video on crop factor at some point. You can get this lens for about €100. It opens all the way to f1.7, which I think makes it the fastest lens I own. Yeah, for low light stuff, this is great. I've shot gigs with this, and not like fancy gigs with lots of nice lights, like tiny little intimate gigs with a few lights and that's it. I've done some outdoor stuff with this lens, and you can't really beat it. There's a reason people recommend prime lenses as well. If you're starting out, chances are you're going to zoom in a lot with your zoom lens. And I'm guilty of that too if I'm out shooting with my 12 to 60. But the image might not need zooming in or zooming out, it might just need tilting your camera slightly. So the 25 gives you a 50mm equivalent. It's kind of a nice middle ground. It's not too wide, it's not too long. If you want something a bit wider, the Olympus 17mm f1.8 would probably be what I would recommend. I don't have a copy on hand at the moment, but it gives you roughly a 35mm equivalent, and it just does great in low light. It's a nice kind of wide-ish angle lens, and if you want a bit more reach, you can't beat the Olympus 45mm f1.8. Love this lens, it's my favorite Micro Four Thirds lens. Once you dip your toe into the world of prime lenses, you kind of just keep picking them up and picking them up and picking them up. People will call them a fast prime. Fast just means that they can let in a lot of light, meaning you have a low aperture, so f1.8, 1.7, something like that. But yeah, I recommend the 25mm specifically, unless you know that you want a bit further reach or less reach. What if you want more reach? Well, then I have 2 recommendations. The first lens I got to get a good long reach on a subject was this, the Lumix 45 to 150. I got a great deal on it because I'll just get some footage of this, but it's a bit dinged up, but it still works completely fine. Stabilization still works. My brother's in a local Gaelic football team. I'd go and take pictures in the matches, and then the teammates all, you know, use the pictures on their Facebook. But after a while, I kind of was like, oh, okay, I need a little bit more reach. So I got this, the Lumix 100 to 300. Now, I've done a full review on this lens, and I've even taken it out for a few photo vlogs. But let's talk about the pros and cons of each of these. This lens, despite, you know, fitting in my hand kind of easily. This gives you the equivalent reach as if you're shooting at a 90 to 300mm on a full frame system. That's a lot of reach in a tiny lens, and you got to consider if you're outgrowing your kit lens, what is it you're trying to take images of? Is it going to be sports? Is it going to be wildlife? Is it just you want a tiny bit more reach for landscapes or that sort of thing? If it's your case that you just want a tiny bit more reach than your kit lens, I'd go for something like this. Olympus also make a 45 to 150 that is brilliant. I have no qualms with that lens. I just like the stabilization because it works on my Lumix bodies. Then I was like, okay, I want to do a bit more nature photography, want to lean more into the sports photography, so I got this. It is the 100 to 300mm, and this gives you the reach as if it's a 200 to 600mm equivalent in a lens that's like, here's a glasses case. This is why Micro Four Thirds is amazing. It's also stabilized and it just performs really well. It's a bit expensive. Olympus also have a version, it's a 70 to 300, might be 75 to 300. Editing, you can put a correction on screen. Typically as well, if you're buying a brand new Micro Four Thirds kit, I don't really recommend doing that unless you're buying a flagship camera. I might make a video on how to bargain hunt. Now, as far as I know, Olympus used to ship their kit lens and also their 45 to 150 in some bundles. That'll give you a lot of reach, and a good friend of mine recently purchased an EM5 Mark II for himself, and it came with the 12 to 50, the 45 to 150, and you know, he's well set up already. If you do want to maybe dabble in some bird photography, some sports photography, something like that, I would recommend the 100 to 300 or maybe the Olympus version. As an honorable mention, I want to recommend a few fun lenses. People forget photography is an art, and art is, in my opinion, meant to be fun to the consumer and the creator. This is the Olympus 30mm macro. I have done a review on this lens, but it's just a great, like, beginner macro lens, and I mean, once you put this on a body, you'll be going around your whole house taking pictures of things super close up. Great fun. I have a review on it. You can click the card here if you want to see more. There's also the body cap lenses by Olympus. So you have a 15mm and your 9mm. I have ordered a 9mm. It should arrive sometime by the end of the week. Looking forward to shooting with that. It's the red one. Got a great deal. Vintage lenses are also super fun to shoot with because you just need to pick yourself up an adapter, something like this. Then you can screw on your vintage lens, attach it to your body, and you have a pretty nice manual focus. Fun time. Those are my recommendations. I think kit lens, and then you're going to outgrow your kit lens in two ways. You're going to want better low light performance, or you're going to want more reach. That's kind of what my journey was for learning photography. I got my kit lens, got a fast prime, and then I got a telephoto. I am curious as to what lens you started out with. For me, my first Micro Four Thirds lens was the 12 to 60 by Lumix. Video has not been sponsored in any way. I know I mentioned MPB a few times for their prices. Not a sponsor, I just use their website way too much. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the video, subscribe. I make new videos every week and they get uploaded Thursday afternoon. So, cheers.